on social media a few days ago. Is 2021 the year that pre-bookable rates are dead? And it was quite an interesting debate on that post. I think it was on LinkedIn that I saw the post.
Yeah.
Is 2021 the year that advanced purchase pre-bookable rates die? And, you know, as you can imagine, there was quite a variety of viewpoints on the yes side and the no side. It kind of weighted more on that yes, you know, that there's no place for advanced purchase pre-bookable rates now. Do you have an opinion on that one?
Yes, there's yeah, everybody telling you have to be flexible because no, things are going to happen whereby future lockdowns could happen.
Yep.
Probably will happen.
I think that's a reality. Yep.
You know, so that's the thing about going back. What sold, what worked for you, and look at your booking policies.
Yep.
You know, it could be, a lot of hotels, you know this yourself, Barry, a lot of hotels relied on advanced purchase rates for cash flow. Yeah, that's a statement in fact. We know that.
It's a reality.
Yes. Is that going to happen again? Probably not, because people are showing a reluctance to buy advanced purchase because they don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
However, adapt your policies to go, do you know what? We will require maybe a small deposit if you want to book this. Or no, we will require the full amount for you, no 100% deposit. However, put in that, look, if you cancel for whatever reason, no, rather than you cancelling the booking, we'll convert that to maybe a gift voucher.
Yeah.
That you can use for 18 months from the date of cancellation.
So you're retaining the revenue, but
you're retaining the revenue and kind of keeping the sale.
Yes.
You're showing that flexibility to the guest. I seen that on another, our favourite social media, LinkedIn, and I went, that's quite clever.
Yeah,
that's quite good.
And I'm taking what you're suggesting there is evolving from an advanced purchase, no flexibility, into a kind of hybrid product of non-refundable but fully flexible.
Yes.
If you need to move it, if you need to adjust it, no problem, but we're not going to refund you.
No. We're not going to refund you in the nicest possible way.
Absolutely. And of course, then offering the alternative that if you want that fully flexible, refundable rate, that's fine, but it's going to be at this rate.
Yes.
That's going to
there's always going to be, if you can, put a margin in that going, right, we'll have to charge, we do have that rate type available, but it's an extra 50 quid.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the people, they say there's a lot of pent up demand out there. The people are just waiting to go, right, you can open.
Yep.
People will pay it. They're not really that price sensitive.
No. I don't necessarily think they are. I think a lot of people, especially in Scotland, you look at some of the rural independent hotels, they feel kind of coerced, pushed into being price sensitive. And, I spend a lot of time saying to owners, have you actually tested the market? Can you actually say authentically that your customer is price sensitive? Because I'm not so sure that they are. If you're delivering a great product, if you've got a product that's a bit different from what Jimmy down the road is doing, just as you said, I don't necessarily, yes, there is that price-driven bargain end of the market. Of course there is. And I always challenge owners that I'm talking to, is that really where you want to be trading? If it is, fine, go for that.
Oh yeah, there's a market for that. We both know, yeah, definitely.
There is that budget market, but not everybody needs to be trading in that market. If you've got the product and if you've got the service standards and if you're delivering good old-fashioned Scottish hospitality, there are many people, myself included, who will happily pay for that.
Who will come, yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, it's back to that, looking at your data. Don't do this work and then that's it, let it, open the doors and they shall come.
Yeah.
No, you need to keep on it.
You've got to work at it. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a strategy.
And adjust accordingly.
As a late friend of mine used to say, have a plan and hold it lightly.
Yes. I totally agree with that.
And I live to that motto to this day.
Yeah.
I will carry that with me. One from the late, great Karen Yates, that one, have a plan and hold it lightly.
Yeah.
Now, something you touched on a bit earlier, Neil, that I want to come back to, because I think it's a really important point. We were talking a wee bit earlier about how easy it is to get, and especially at the moment, more than ever, how easy it is for managers and owners to get sapped into the day-to-day. And it draws you away from looking a bit more strategically, particularly in terms of your strategy, your sales plans, your revenue plans, and how you intend to build that sales funnel.
Yes.
And you mentioned a little bit of a passing remark that I want to come back to. You mentioned there, take a step back and find the time to think about these things. Or if you can't, get some help who can help you with it. Now, very sadly, you and I both know a number of highly skilled, great people who, through no fault of their own, their roles have become redundant because of COVID measures. And of course, businesses have been closed for, if you look at it, probably 6-7 months of the last 12 months. So of course, owners had to cut their cloth accordingly. But that's going to change. That's going to have lasting changes upon structures within hotels, staffing structures, and how people move forward. And I know it's a wee bit uncomfortable of a topic, it's a bit controversial, but I think that there's a real opportunity for owners now to be thinking 2-3 months ahead at when they do come to open and they do come to restaff their hotels, to actually challenge and question, right, where am I going to channel my direct wage costs? And I always encourage people, channel your direct wage costs at looking after the customers that are in your business.
Definitely.
Where you have the opportunity to outsource, really think hard about doing that and look at the economics of scale. It's debatable. Somebody who's got a rural 40, 50, 60 bed hotel in Scotland, a seasonal hotel in the Highlands, do they need to be spending 25, 30, 35,000 on having a dedicated revenue manager on their team? That's a pretty tough one to justify, actually. That's a substantial wage for a business of that size.
Yeah.
Do they actually need a full-time revenue manager 5 days out of 7? Questionable. Versus the economies of buying a couple of days of your time once a week. What do you think the opportunity is? What would you be saying to owners right now in terms of, look, you've maybe never considered outsourcing support beforehand. You need revenue management help. You probably need it now more than ever because you've got no sales pipeline whatsoever, and you need to rebuild that. Waiting until we reopen is too late.
No, you need to put some prep work in now.
Yeah.
It will happen. We will reopen.
Absolutely.
We just don't have an exact date just now. Yeah. But putting the groundwork in now, so when we do get that date, you just need to flick the button.
Yeah.
And things will happen for you.
Yeah.
Yes. No, if you go on to any recruitment website, and you put in hotel revenue manager and you see some of the salaries,
mm-hmm.
It is a fairly expensive nicety to have.
Yeah.
But it's not a nicety, it's really crucial, because if this staycation boom is going to come, which we all hope and pray is coming.
And I think there's no reason for it not to come. I think there is a huge level of pent-up interest.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from people at the moment is lots of inquiries, but they're not getting converted into bookings at the moment. I don't think there's the confidence yet in the market for people to actually book.
No, there's still a lot of unknowns, but I think that's probably coming from the politics of it. We don't know. We don't have a definite date. And there's no this roadmap that we had last summer
Yep.
I think they're working on it.
Agreed.
They're working on it, and they will come, but not just now. I think it's still too early, but we have to be prepared. And I would say revenue management is crucial just now. No, your frontline customer-facing staff are vital. We both know that, and on working with having that COVID secure environment, it must be bloody hard work, Barry.
Absolutely.
The constant hand washing, the constant cleaning and disinfecting, and all the one-way systems, and it's horrendous. But you mentioned earlier yourself, your greatest asset is the one above your heads, your rooms.
Yep.
You need someone to go, like, this is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we would like to be. How we're going to get there.
Yep.
There needs to be a road. You need to have a roadmap.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Not even just not Nicola needs a roadmap. You need a roadmap as well.
Absolutely.
And someone like myself can help you with that. Going, right, I've had a look. So I have the experience and the knowledge of what to look for, and I can do a deep dive into your systems, extract the data which we need to make those business decisions, and then come back to you and go, right, this is what I found. This is what you said you want to try and achieve. This is the roadmap to get there.
Yep.
Right. We kick off. I take the time to go and review your data. And if something's not working, we then have a conversation. Look, that element is just not working just now, but I think if we tweak it like that, it would make the difference.
Yep.
My mantra has always been, to be straight talking and direct and honest with my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And for the benefit of both of us, and go back to the conversation we had earlier on. The start is the relationship between revenue management software, and we will come up with that revenue management strategy, that roadmap. We say, right, what resources do we have to help deliver that?
Yep.
Right? And some of the software out there is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's been a lot of great strides been taken in the last few years of giving hoteliers the ability to compete with the big boys, right?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be expensive.
No,
Just like outsourcing, your software, there's not the big capital outlay costs at the very beginning. And a lot of the vendors out there, it's a SaaS model. You pay as you go.
Yep. So they've moved from that upfront investment into more of a subscription model now.
So rather than coming out of your capex, it comes out of your operational budget.
Yep.
That makes a hell of a difference to your P&L.
I mean, I've certainly encountered it's a nice segue into the tech world that I wanted to move the conversation there. It's a nice way to move it into there, Neil, because I think COVID has prompted a lot of people to take a fresh look at technology and looking at tech to help overcome some of the challenges, particularly around remote ordering and integrations and such. I don't know about you, I often find, especially in the independent hotel world, there is a bit of a reluctance to look at systems and tech, because I think there's still that historical feeling of it's going to cost me a fortune. Is it actually going to work? Is it going to make anything any better? And then there's the operational inconvenience of retraining and bringing new systems and new hardware into place. Now, I know this is a particular area that, as well as revenue management, it's the other area that you work in helping people with. You must have encountered situations. Well, I guess it's a two-part question. I mean, have you encountered that same kind of cynicism that I meet? And you must have some great examples of actually where you overcome that.
Yes, very much so, Barry. Yes, I think it's the great unknown out there, because it's probably driving that reluctance of hotel owners and managers to change systems.
Yep.
It shouldn't be changed for change's sake. No, if you, it's a really good opportunity, especially when we are in lockdown, to look at all your pain points,
yep.
all your customer touch points, and going, how can we make that better? And technology can make that better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going back to the hybrid model. It's having that balance between technology driven and still having the traditional hospitality.
Yep.
That, it drew me into the hospitality industry way back in the day, and why I still love the hotel industry.
Yep.
There's some hotels that have totally gone the other way.
Full automation, you never meet a soul.
Yeah, it's like, yes, and that suits them because they have said, no, this is our business model.
Yeah.
Right. So you got probably the best one would be Citizen M, is the one I can think of. Right. But there will be a case that the consumer will drive a lot of this.
Sure.
As we come out of lockdown and as we hopefully get people with all this pent up demand we've discussed, there will still be an element the consumer will demand. Wait a minute. No.
Yep.
I still have that reluctance to sign a paper copy with a pen, a registration card. No.
Yeah.
No.
Those are very much areas, I think, where we won't go back to life as it was in 2019 or 2018.
No.
There will be some lasting changes.
Yes. It's been on the development, it's been on the pipeline for a long time.
Yep.
COVID actually driven it faster. So rather than you waiting for me to stand right in front of you, in my mask with a big plastic screen, going, can you sign that registration card and can you give me all your personal details? No, I would go, no. But see, yesterday, when I was getting ready to come to visit your hotel, I could have received an email from you going, we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. This is your booking. We've got a lovely superior guest suite waiting for you. Could we ask you for your details and to sign your registration card first?
Yep.
Now,
rather
than you doing it when you get here.
And if you think about it, Neil, hotels and airlines are often very closely interlinked, especially in terms of tech. Yes. Now, I can't remember the last time I queued up in an airport to go to the check-in desk to be handed my boarding card. I do it all online. In fact, I don't even print a boarding card these days. I get it emailed to my phone.
And the phone. Yeah.
Look at how the airports have adapted, that now you've got all the self-scanning gates and security. Yeah. You barely need to come into contact with a human being, which the way air travel was before COVID started is probably not a bad thing. It potentially was a pretty streamlined process of walk through the airport doors, scan your pass, through the gate, through security, and off you go.
Yeah, and I think hotels will. I say it depends what type of hotel you're operating.
Sure.
As we said, the budgets, the tech-led budgets, hotels will go down that line.
Yep.
Would that still relevant? Maybe in a 5-star luxury. To a certain extent, yes, because I say the consumer will demand it. But to have that technology as a backup, it's not replacing humans. It's a backup. It's an enabler, right? So for me to go, right, can you manually fill in that registration card? Then someone comes up and queues behind you. Then another person comes up and queues behind you, all to sign a piece of paper. So, even before COVID, it was a waste of time, a waste of effort. Absolutely. Whereby if I get send it to my mobile phone, right? Perfect.
Yeah.
So I do that before going. I'll reach the hotel. No, I on a socially distance. I go, that's me here. Hello, Mr. Farren. Rather than me giving you a key, I've sent a code to your phone.
Exactly.
No, room 101. If you take the stairs, second on the left. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So you've still got that human contact to a certain extent, but not as much as before.
Not as much as before. And I wonder how much we still cling on to those legacy processes. Simply because we've not actually reviewed them. It's just the way we've always done it.
We've always done it. We've done it since 1965. Let's not change it. But I get this code on my phone. I go up to my I go up to my bedroom door. Click. Away. I don't have to go, oh, I've got this little plastic key that's not been sanitized. Put it in, nothing's happening. I have to throw away back down to the reception again. So
sounds like there's real opportunities to catch up there.
Real opportunities. And
I'm reminded of
it was great. I seen that you think, oh, no, automated door locks, that's going to cost me a fortune. There's actually a company out there that can come in and then they put a wee grommet into your existing door locks. And there you go, you've got automatic doors, electronic door locks that get sent to your mobile. So it's genius how they've came up with this, that you don't have to replace 50 door locks.
Which has always been the prohibitive cost element in the past. I can remember pricing up electronic door locks for properties in the past, and very quickly you were into tens of thousands of pounds. You might be getting quoted £700, £800 per lock. And from listening, that's not that long ago. I'm talking about maybe only 4 or 5 years ago.
So that's what you're saying.
That's changed completely.
Tech providers are coming up with really innovative, sexy solutions. That it doesn't cost the earth. So just adding this, it's like literally that size.
That's incredible. No, I've not heard of that before, so I've learned something today. That's really valuable.
There you go. You've got electronic door keys. Right?
Fantastic.
How great's that?
You've brought home to me, Neil. You've reminded me of a scenario. The last property that I was running operationally, and I spent a couple of years putting up with a PMS system, which frankly was just not fit for purpose, and I was guilty in that situation. Being the budget holder, I was faced with a scenario of if we renew the PMS and change it for Opera or something like that, that's taking money that I'm trying to invest in the property elsewhere to improve the asset physically. And that's the dilemma that I was faced with. And you know what? Looking back objectively, I'm now prompted to question, in terms of inefficiencies, in terms of outdated systems, actually, how much did it cost us living with that PMS system that wasn't fit for purpose, that was outdated? I can reflect back and think, actually, that maybe wasn't one of the better decisions that I made.
Yes. Just like everything else, Barry, and a lot of the new tech it's out there, it's cloud-based. Right? Everything's cloud-based because the capabilities, the efficiencies, the ease of access that you can get from a cloud-based system, far superior to what's gone on before.
Very true.
But the resistance I get from hotel owners, hotel managers, but it's not secure, is it? I go, well, yeah, it's probably more secure than your server it's sitting on top of your accountant's desk that no one can access to, that it's probably riddled with viruses.
Yep. Yep.
You forgot you knew your virus protection.
Yep. Which is 10 years old and it's out of date, and very true.
It's probably
Very true.
more secure than what you've got just now.
Absolutely. No, I think there's a real lesson, and again, it's a real opportunity for people. I think there has been embracement of tech solutions to help with automating check-in and automating order at the table and pay at the table and all of these kind of solutions. And it probably is, like with most things, one of the positives that we'll be able to look back on in the future years. I think we will be able to look back and say, you know what, COVID prompted maybe 5 years of development into 6 months or 12 months, and actually tech has taken a huge jump forward.
But Barry, there's no harm in asking. Just go, no, you don't have, again, you're talking about, well, what can you do, Neil? Have a chat with me. I'll do all the dirty work for you.
Yep.
No, I'll do, well, this is my pain point, Neil. This is what I want to do. What's out there? But you don't need to go and Google stuff and go, right, I'm looking for a new PMS system, but I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. Okay, I don't know who to go and ask. I want to provide that one-stop shop of going, right, Neil, this is what I want.
This is my problem. Help.
I'll come back to you going, you need this, you want to do that, this is how you're going to do it.
Great stuff. So on that very point, Neil, how can people get in contact with you?
Pick up the phone. I'm always on call. Do you want my number now, or do you want to?
We'll put a link on we'll put a link to your social media and your contacts.
Yes. Number one, it's on my website anyway, which is www.farrenhotelsupport.co.uk. farrenhotelsupport.co.uk. My number, email address, I've got contact forms there. Just fill one, it'll come straight through to me, and I'll give you a phone.
Perfect. That's great. Neil, what an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Barry. Yeah, again, I love having these conversations with you. They just get you thinking.
Doesn't it just get you thinking? And if it helps, any of our friends and colleagues out in the industry there who we know are having a tough time, we know that they're under pressure and they're under constraint. I think certainly one of the differences that I felt over the last few months is that I've had more approaches from people just picking up the phone or sending me a text message and asking the question, what do you think of this?
Doesn't cost you any money to do that, Barry.
Absolutely not. And
you never know where that could lead to.
Precisely. And I know you as much as I will welcome any of those kind of even it's just a question of I've had people contacting me asking me about what I think of the face masks and visors and all the rest of it. We're here and we are able to help, and we've got that bit of headspace and that bit of time to actually be able to give advice rather than an operator going and doing loads of research at the moment, which frankly they've got neither the time nor the headspace for.
No, definitely. And there needs to be an element of trust there. There's a lot of there will be a lot of people out there that will promise you the world, but you need time to strip it back, going, well, what do I need this to do, and how is it going to make my life easier, and how am I going to make my team's life easier?
Absolutely.
And that's the key, because you've got your sanitizing to do and your hand gels to fill up, and you've got your face masks to go and reorder, and
Somebody described it to me recently. They were talking about last July when we reopened out of the first lockdown. And their words to me was that overnight it was like going from a baby crawl to doing the 100-meter sprint at the Olympics. And I thought that was a painful but a very true analogy.
Definitely. Definitely. And I just, no, we both said it's just painful. I wouldn't want to go back to that myself, but
absolutely,
I know if you and I can help hoteliers come across them.
That's exactly what we're here for. Neil, absolute pleasure as always to chat with you. Thanks so much for your time, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, take care, Brian. Bye bye.
Bye for now.